What's up, everybody? Welcome to Paying Dues here on Off the Top Media, powered by Rivet City Radio. I am your host tonight, Mr. Jamey Rose. I'm here with a special guest of mine. He is the founder of Botch Chair Shots, the man behind Rivet City Radio, and he is a pro wrestling encyclopedia, at least if we're talking about stuff that happened 30 years ago and more. Anyways, with me tonight, it is a great honor I have on the Will Gray. Will, how you feeling tonight?
Let's just get one thing straight, Jamey. Right off the rip, man. Wrestling is like wine, bro. Older the berry, the sweeter the juice. You want the best and purest pro wrestling, you're going to want to go back. You know what I mean? It's like rock music. Mm-hmm. You know, Pink Floyd, the Beatles, 1970s, like JCP, WCCW, the 1970s. They go hand in hand. Old school wrestling's where it's at.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Sitting there listening to Dark Side of the Moon while you got some Memphis going on in the background. Can't get any better.
You're describing college to me. Not that I was alive in Memphis in the 70s during college, but I would love to get stoned and listen to Pink Floyd and watch wrestling tapes.
Ooh, sounds like a good time. Anyways, man, let's get down to business. So tonight, Raw was from Tampa Bay down there in Florida. Raw opens up with the Judgment Day. They're cutting a promo, getting down to it. Then it looks like they're going to celebrate the win for Dom Mysterio in his title reign as the NXT North American champion. So I was 5 then. Anyways, my first thought when they first came out, I was like, oh, look, Finn's got no belt. Dom comes out. He's got a belt. Everyone's got some sort of title. You know, Damien's got Money in the Bank. Rhea's the women's world champ. And Dom's got his belt. Anyways, to, not get off of track, Sammy and KO, they, interrupt because, in my opinion, right now, they're pretty much the gatekeepers of WWE. All they do is show up week to week, and they're like, oh, that ain't the unwritten rule. This is how it happens. That's pretty much their role now. I mean, they haven't really been in a significant storyline as of late. So, with that being said, they pretty much set up a match for later on that night. Sami Zayn versus Dirty Dom Mysterio for the North American Championship of NXT. So at that little opening segment, Will, how'd you feel about that, brother?
My notes for the opening segment were as follows. The first thing I wrote down is, doesn't the rise for the Judgment Day, doesn't that feel very Red Brand version of the whole acknowledge me thing? Yes. It's like tit for tat, right? They got to open the same way. I said, Dom has massive heat with MJF playing face with Adam Cole, pun intended. I mean, Dom's arguably the biggest heel in the business right now, so give the man his fucking roses.
I believe so.
He gets booed every night because he's supposed to have made you hate him, and he's done a great job at doing that. Whether you like him or not, he does his job at least good enough to do it every Monday night for the biggest company on the planet. Semi and KO, huge pop, lots of fun. He said the line, didn't we do this last week? Abso-fucking-lutely, we did KO. And that seems to be the reoccurring habit, is because this tag team division seems like Kevin and Semi are in the fucking Groundhog's Day, where it's just week over week, them interacting with Imperium, or them interacting with Judgment Day, or them interacting with Alpha Academy. They're almost like a fucking Nick Cage movie, man. Nick Cage plays the same person every time. Nick Cage is a person with issues. And now you look at fucking Semi and KO, they're a tag team with issues. And who do they have issues with this week? The fucking Judgment Day. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Sammy's super over, but I think they missed their shot. I wrote that down. I think I meant that. That was a few hours ago now.
The thing I even wrote down about Sammy and KO, I love what they're doing, but it is repetitive. And
it is. They do the same thing week over week. It's the same segment. KO comes out, he screams and yells, and everybody's like, oh, it's funny. KO's pissed. And you know what? Like, I fucking love it. It's entertaining. I'm not against it, but it is kind of getting same song, same dance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can only take a few more weeks of it, and then I'm about done with it. Yeah, man. I absolutely love what they're doing with the Judgment Day. They're pointing towards some sort of dissension, and we'll talk about that later. But coming up next, let's see. Also with Dom Mysterio in that belt, a lot of people are hating on it. I love it. I don't know what your thoughts are about it, but I love how they're gonna put that title on him and then have him go to all three of these shows. And you're having Judgment Day on all three of these shows. You're getting some representation there. You're also building your ratings up because Judgment Day, like it or not, they bring ratings to your show. And then you're also establishing Dominic Mysterio as your top heel because, heck, that's what the crowd's giving you. They're pretty much putting it right in your hands just like that. And they're taking every moment and they are just churning it and churning it. Wesley, he's over like Rover over in NXT. You beat him dirty. Dirty Dom's gonna beat him dirty, and then he's also gonna take the belt to SmackDown. Have Butch. He's an up and rising babyface within that brand. Have him beat him, and then just have him get all that heat from being with the Judgment Day. It works, man. I really enjoy what they're doing with them. Any thoughts on kind of having that belt on Dominic?
Yeah. My thoughts on Dominic as the North American champion? You mean the WWE NXT North American champion, right?
Yes, sir.
They're the ones that are on Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Where was Dom drafted?
I think the Raw.
Oh, which is what night?
Monday.
Oh, that's right. So why would he be on the Friday show? Oh, that's right. He was on SmackDown, but he's wearing the belt for the Tuesday show, but he was drafted to the Monday show.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Checking my notes. Brand splits aren't real. Drafts don't matter.
They never have. They never have. A brand split hasn't been real since 2008, probably.
It's not that I don't care whether they have the brand split or not. That doesn't matter. I'm going to get to Dalton's comment in just a second because he brings up a good comment and good question. So it's not that I care about brand splits because Scows and I have had this conversation on air and off air. We've talked about it. Right now with the writer's strike, they're booking their shows to put their races in their places to get as many eyes on the product as possible for USA because USA is staring down the barrel of a situation. Check out Prince's movie Madness. It was the Saturday show. Great replay value for what he was talking about with what's going on in Hollywood as far as the strike goes. But looking at how it's affecting, wrestling per se, is the fact that now USA knows they're going to need to get as many eyes on WWE product as possible because they're about to hit a point where they've got to start running reruns everywhere else. So WWE is going to be the biggest, freshest product they have on the air. So they're going to need the best aces in their places for WWE moving forward. And we see that with the way they're booking. If that's the case, then don't claim to have a brand split at all. Just be WWE and have specific titles in places. These titles go everywhere, but if you have the Intercontinental title, you have to defend it pay-per-views or SmackDown, that's it. Or if you've got the US title, it's Raw or pay-per-view, and that's it. You know what I mean? Have specific titles. I'm fine with that. But don't claim a whole brand split like across the board for everybody if there's not going to be one. It's almost like it's like really shitty sleight of hand. They're like, look over here, but I'm going to make it blatantly obvious that this is happening,
So after that, you had Becky versus Zoe Starks. I mean, what I've said here about this, my notes pretty much say Zoe's impressive, a great athlete. The match was good. A lot of back and forth for what it was. A lot of commercial breaks during that match, so they didn't really give them a lot of airtime. Trish was good in her role of just kind of being there, being a nuisance to Becky. And then also that leads up to being the kind of just not helping out Zoe in the end, and it's actually backfiring on that end. So with that being said, Becky does win, and you get that match at SummerSlam with Becky and Trish. And obviously Trish isn't happy about that. So what are your thoughts on Becky Lynch versus Zoe Stark?
Becky calls a good match. You go to those old school wrestling hot takes where it's like, if you've wrestled for 6 years and somebody has wrestled for 6 years in one day, they're going to be the one that calls the match. You know what I mean? You can see it in the way Becky works, especially with younger talent. Becky calls a good match. Zoe obviously can work and sell for somebody who knows what they're doing. She listens good. She's got good technique. She's got the agility, the cardio, all of those checks you look for if somebody's like TV ready. Yeah. Zoe checks all those boxes. That's why I wasn't surprised she got that front row ticket and the rocket onto the main roster to work with Trish Stratus, the Hall of Famer, and Becky Lynch, who's arguably one of the best women in the business right now. It's ultimately just it's like the ultimate rub of rubs to get a Hall of Famer and one of the top talents on the industry. It's like so that's good. Like, good for Zoe. Good for Zoe. The over the top spinning senton thing, fucking bueno. Cool. Like, that was super cool. Zoe killed that. It was a good back and forth. Trish is a great manager. Like, watching her work on the outside and working the ring, and kind of like even down to when the next thing I wrote down was the headbutt with the mask, the false finish. It got a great reaction. Becky kind of stopped the, that heel heat, and then she started her comeback for a good finish. Like, they landed the plane in good time. It was a good wrestling match. They hit their good spots. It was a good segment. It told part of the story that needed to be told. Like, there's really nothing you could be mad about with that segment. The biggest argument that I have is the same reoccurring argument week over week for everybody, and that's give the women more time to build their stories. Exactly. If you want the people to care about what they're watching, you have to give us the time to make us care about it. It's hard to give a shit when you get 4 minutes and 2 pictures in your only female segment all week.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Hey, love it, man. I do think Zoe Stark is going to be a big future player within that women's division.
Hold on, let me catch. Shortened airtime for the women, you don't say. And then Scal said, so what do you consider airtime for women? Just wrestling or everything on TV? I would say if you look at any storyline that is predominantly female oriented. So you look at stuff like to take the full rails of your show and just fuck this train all up, Jamey. Just going off with this. If you look at something like the Maxine Dupree thing, I would consider that airtime for a female story, because she's building that story with Valhalla. As much little tiny sense as it makes, it's still there. She's nice to look at. It's fun. You look at some of these other stories, like it was that, and then it was this Becky segment, and that was it for a 3-hour Raw, was all the female we got. There was no other time allotted to build female stories or the women's wrestling division. So I
mean, you pretty much written off Liv Morgan off of TV, and then what's next for Rhea Ripley at that point? Like,
well, they wrote her off by building into, and we'll get to that point. It's a couple segments away, but they kind of wrote her off by putting her into that Raquel situation, and the Raquel is tied in with Rhea, and then you look at all of it just kind of got all jacked up, and it seems like there's a lot of overlapping stories happening, but we'll get there when we get there. This is your show. You can have it back. I'm sorry. It's your show, Jamey. It's your show.
Good. We're talking about women being on the wrestling TV. So anyways, getting into about 38 minutes into the show, Cody Rhodes finally shows up, and it turns into a real wrestling show, if it wasn't before. Anyways, he's out there to respond to the Beast, Brock Lesnar, about the attack last week in front of his home crowd, in front of his mother. Anyways, Cody gives a excellent promo The man is an absolute wordsmith. Wonder where he got that one from.
Oh, I
Anyway.
can't wait for my turn to talk now that you said it that way. As you were.
Anyways, the guy pretty much calls out Brock Lesnar. He's selling this match. I mean, everything that Cody says, it's so articulate. It's just perfect. The guy is selling you the match, and it's just he's money. Everything he's doing so far has been money. Yes, there's a little few things that you're like, it's a little bit annoying, but overall, he's been going on with these programs, and he's been just going and going and going to the point where like he's your most consistent star. People like him, people want to watch him, they sing his theme song, and they've definitely strapped the rocket onto him. Cody Rhodes, I mean, I'm just wondering what's next after Brock, but that's another conversation. But definitely gets me more interested in this third rubber match with Brock.
Sir.
Yes. I know I want to rambling.
No, I love it. I love it. I want to do this in my best Cody Rhodes impression. Okay? So he gets there and he gets real serious and he's like,
"Oh, that's gross."
So Tampa, what do you want to talk about? Have you ever noticed that I'm Cody Rhodes and every promo I say sounds the exact same? I'm just like my dad. I'm the best speaker in the business, but I speak from the heart. Brock, you brought my mom into this. Mom spots and chair shots or whatever the fucking show's called. If you really watch my promos, you realize only the lower half of my mouth moves. My eyes never change. They're always the same. Serious Cody Rhodes eyes. That's really it. Then he slapped the bear and said, come. And I was like, that sounds very erotic. That was a very erotic thing to say, Mr. Rhodes.
Shout out
and in all seriousness, the way he ended it with the I'm going to end this, that was a banger of a line. That was very Dusty. I jokingly say he's the same as Dusty, but Dusty could do that. He would go out every weekend for JCP and he could deliver the same promo every time and just kind of change the words up a little bit and it still fucking hit. And I think Cody in this run and this version of WWE has finally figured out how to do that. He's figured out the Cody Rhodes promo equation, and now he just goes out there and he executes it. He opens, he calls somebody out, he goes through his motions, he gets the hometown shine for whatever city he's in. Like he does all those classic Dusty Rhodes things, and I love it. And I poke fun and I talk shit, but like
they did cool. The same thing with Dusty.
They absolutely did.
This is here, baby. We're going to do it here. We're going to sell this show. We're going to do it about 6 times this week. North Carolina, get ready because the Dusty Road coming, baby.
6 times.
Flair, this is here, Flair. We coming for you. You and your horsemen, baby. Totally on, baby. Luger, I'm going to get you. Sorry, I had to go into some Dusty. But
Dalton says Cody beats Brock, and that's when Bray comes back and attacks Cody. That's the ideal situation. If Brock makes his comeback, please let it be against Cody Rhodes. Please let it be Cody Rhodes.
Yes. I'm absolutely down for that. I mean, I'm not holding on to anything for it, just because, with Bray, it's a little flaky, but that would be ideal. That would give Cody another story, so we don't have to go into that conversation about him finishing the story. Buys him some more time for that, and it gets Bray into a top program right off the bat when he comes back.
To build from SummerSlam to like Survivor Series or something. Because, Bray, he's like, it takes him 90 days to lace one boot. So if he comes back at SummerSlam, he won't have his first fucking match until October, which is the year anniversary of his return. And it'll be like, shit, the man's wrestled one match on television and 5 in house shows. Like, so if Bray comes back at SummerSlam, we might see him in ring by Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Because you'll have to tell you a 20-part story.
And the program would be great, especially with Cody. You got so much to work with.
Cody Rhodes in the Firefly Funhouse. You want to see that shit?
I want to see
actually, like,
polka dots.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of want to see it.
Yeah.
I would love to see them like do the callback to the Stardust shit and the
Yeah.
fucking dashing Cody Rhodes and like.
I
Okay,
think that'd be
maybe
fire.
you're right. Okay,
Yeah.
give him Bray Wyatt. Let Cody Rhodes chew on Bray
Yeah.
Wyatt for 3 to 6 months. That could
Dalton,
be
I
a good
like
story.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, good call, Dalton.
Good call.
Thanks for stopping by, Bubba.
This is paying dues. Kevin Patrick. Don't get me started. The guy's horrible. He just goes out there. He's like, Becky Lynch. She kicks Trish. It's horrible. I listen to him every week. I want to mute the TV. Corey Graves is the redeeming part of that show.
This is why they're separated. You know that, right? Is because they don't have 2 other commentators they can trust to run the whole program. So they can't put Graves and Cole both on SmackDown or Graves and Cole both on Raw. Because they don't have 2 more Graves and Coles is the problem.
When they got rid of Tom Phillips, that's where they messed up. He was good.
No. When they let go of what
Morrow.
was it? Morrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. He's one of the best.
A lot of that was on Morrow, though, with his mental stuff.
Yeah. Nigel McGuinness in AEW, sleeper for great commentators. I just don't think Raw and SmackDown and NXT, that's not WWE's like biggest point. Dalton says he missed Byron Saxton. Byron does like backstage interviews and shit now. I don't understand why he doesn't do more commentary work.
He was underrated in that 3rd spot.
What was the dude's name? Mace. He used to be a commentator too.
Mm-hmm.
He was terrible at it, but like that shows you how many commentators they've chewed on in the last
Samoa
like 5
Joe
or 6
was
years.
Decent in that role.
Samoa Joe they should have kept him as a backstage producer and like talent scout.
Exactly.
Like, because he sucked at commentary. Yeah,
that's what William Regal had him doing on NXT.
Joe was great. He did want to wrestle. And he showed in AEW now in Ring of Honor that he still had some in the tank. He can still go. I'm here for Joe. Joe. Plus he's fucking what's his name in the clown. What's the fucking clown's name, Jamey? Sweet Tooth, Twisted Metal.
Sweet Tooth,
there you go.
Twisted Metal. Mm-hmm.
Joe. Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, this was also a line from Kevin Patrick during the Sami Zayn entrance. Sami has the opportunity to become a double champion tonight. My exact thoughts were, actually, these weren't my thoughts. I'll give him credit where it's due. My wife actually had this thought. She was like, he's wearing 2 belts, isn't he? I said, yeah. That would make him a double champ.
But is he? He's not a double champ, Jamey. He's the undisputed tag team champion. They just haven't.
No, what they are the Raw tag team champions and SmackDown tag team champions. That's double champ. They got
the King
2
Jerry
belts.
Lawler. That's a ballsy statement, Dalton. I'll take that though. The King's not a bad option for a whoop-de-doo for a lead commentator. You know who my favorite is though, Jamey. You ready? Gordon Solie.
Gordon Solie was the man.
The goat.
The voice on Memphis Wrestling.
He's one of those things though, like he's like people are who's the most influential wrestler in your opinion of all time? And I say Buddy Rogers. And then I have to explain why Buddy Rogers. That's why I said Gordon Solie is the GOAT, because without him, we would have never had a Jerry Lawler or a Jim Ross or a God forbid sock face over in AEW. What's his name? The
Excalibur.
The pro wrestling gorilla guy.
I'm so used to calling him sock face now.
And then you look at all the other good ones, your Morrows, your Ian Riccobonis, your Nigel McGuinnesses. Mm-hmm. They all pull from what Gordon did in Florida and Georgia and JCP.
I love me some Ian Riccoboni. He's great.
He signed a long-term deal, according to the boys over at Fightful. No free shout-outs, but he's with AEW long-term now.
Yep. I think he's doing good in the absence of Kevin Kelly, which is also a great spot there. And that was a great pickup by AEW for Collision on that end.
Did you ever listen to the English commentary he was doing in New Japan?
New Japan, yes. And he was absolutely killing it.
Yeah. I watch New Japan for like Wrestle Kingdom, and we cover them for the G1. We just did the week 1 recap, and we'll do another episode after block play's done. And then we'll do another episode to finish the tournament. Mm-hmm. Warren and Dirt Sheet Dan.
Yeah. Dirt Sheet Dan. Cage My IQ. Love that guy.
Oh yeah, big fan of this show. Like he's been on Botch Spots and Share Shots. Big fan of his show. Everything that guy does. Great dude. Love Dan Bakley.
So we move on into the Sami Zayn and Dirty Dom Mysterio match for the NXT North American Championship. With this was a fantastic match all around. I give this the match of the night. What do you feel? Well,
easily the match of the night.
Easily match of the night.
I maybe have the most notes for any individual match on this one. What's up, Sammy? How are you, dear? I hope you're having a good night.
What's up, Sammy? I did write down Dom Mysterio is in his bag right now. He exudes the confidence that he was missing even months ago.
Gorilla, see, Dalton, you need to stick around, bro. Make sure you drop a follow and shit and come to some of the other shows. Like, I think you would be very on vibe with some of the other shit we drop. As you were, Jamey. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you.
No, you're good,
today.
Dude,
I'm sorry,
dude,
sir.
Dude.
It's your show. It's your show, Jamey. It's your show.
Dalton's showing up in awesome fashion. That's all I'm saying. Man, so you got JD, Judgment Day, and KO both getting involved in this, but it's still going back and forth. They're still putting on a good match. KO is injected at first, and then you see Judgment Day snickering in the back, and then they get ejected too. And then this turns into an absolute banger of a match after that, when they actually have to pull out the stops. I even said Dominic Reigns, ? The guy was kicking out of everything. Like 2 blue thunder bombs.
Because finishers aren't real and they don't matter either, just like drafts.
They don't matter.
I'm just kidding. I'm just talking shit, Jamey.
Hey, hit me with 14 super kicks. I'll still get up.
So do the Young Bucks in every match they've ever done.
So with that being said, eventually, Judgment Day does bring out Kevin Owens. He's all beaten up, and then that provides the distraction for Dominic to get the roll up on Sami Zayn for the win. So that match had, for me, it had no business being that good, but it was an absolute banger. Will, your thoughts?
Match of the night. Apparently KO is dealing with a real injury. I think that was kind of why they were they're kind of poising it to where he might not be on TV a lot because the beatdown. My notes were as follows. Sami starts hot on offense. Great momentum to the outside. That cool little dive thing they did. He starts mouthing off to the rest of Judgment Day. Then I wrote down the words, another unnecessary commercial break. I felt like every time a fucking match or a segment was picking up momentum, they would piss on it by switching over to a commercial. Dom was quick to shut it down. What does this say? Ref kicks. Oh, the ref kicks everybody out. He made Judgment Day leave. And then it gets back to good offense in the match, goes back to a good old-fashioned wrestling match. You know me. I love that. The knees on the frog splash. It starts the comeback. KO. I wrote down KO gets hurt. Sami gets cheated. And then the very last thing I wrote on this segment is Adam Pearce seems like he's there for show.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure he really have you ever had that person at work, Jamey, that just kind of shows up for work, but you're like, are they really doing their job?
Not at all.
Have you ever had that coworker, Jamey? Do you know? Know what that's kind of what I feel like Adam Pearce is. He's there for show. Like he shows up and he makes it. He's like, oh, fuck, KO's beat up. I better run out there and make it look like I'm concerned. It's the only time we saw him all night. The 1,000 other things going on. And it's just like, that's the most concerned Adam Pearce gets all night. Like that became his own personality trait was, oh, fuck, KO's hurt. Adam Pearce is here for show, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely not a Jack Tunney. So we get down to a backstage segment. Got Judgment Day and then Akira Tozawa and Apollo Crews. My only note with this is Rhea loves to pick on Akira Tozawa.
Yeah. That's her thing. They wrestled, didn't they have that intergender thing? And they wrestled some house shows against each other too.
Yeah.
Like they work well together. And he's one of those like sleeper candidates for those trainers and backstage like coaches and producers and stuff. Like he's got an eye for the business. He's never really gotten through that mid-card jobber stint in WWE, but like he's got a mind for it. So good on Tozawa for staying in the business as long as he had in the top company.
Mm-hmm. And then you also set up a match with Damien and Apollo Crews later on for the night. And then also you get down to another kind of backstage thing where you get Shinsuke Nakamura and Tommaso Ciampa. They talk about what happened last week with them. Ciampa's like, dude, if you interrupt us again, we're going to have some issues. And then we get on to the match. Love hearing No One Will Survive when he comes out, man. That it puts me right in my feels. As a black and gold NXT fan, I absolutely love it. Gets me down to the core. All he's missing is some gold. If he had some Goldie, man, right there. Big Bronson Reed. You don't need the big part in there. Obviously, you know the motherfucker's big. You know? It just it bothers me.
We have breaking news, by the way.
Do we?
Yeah, breaking news. Bronson Reed unblocked me on Twitter.
Oh my.
Thank you, Mike the Hill, my co-host from After Dark, tweeted at him and said, "Hey, unblock my boy Will. He's unblocked me. I didn't check the Botchbots and Chair Shots account yet, but I will. But I'm hoping maybe I'm ready to give you your roses, Bronson. Accept them. I'm sorry. I said some mean things in NXT. You went to New Japan and you learned how to wrestle. I'm here for it now. I love you, Bronson." No way. Yeah, way. I'm not blocked by Bronson Reed anymore.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, the guy put on a great match tonight with Ciampa. I love their dynamic. You got the smaller guy, you got the bigger guy, but also like Ciampa looks like an actual professional wrestler, and he has some like muscle to him.
You know,
so
I love that.
It looks like an actual fight, and these guys went out and put on a show. It was physical as hell.
Mm-hmm.
The man was throwing knees everywhere. Just the physicality of it. You know, I do see a lot of that Harley race in Tommaso Ciampa. I do see a lot of it. You know, you get a lot of back and forth. Nakamura does come out, provide some more distraction, and you get a tsunami. Bronson Reed goes over. How are you feeling about that match?
I said, one, the Gable Stevenson's shit seemed unnecessary. I thought that was dumb. That like 20-second clip they had of him, I'll say that was unnecessary TV time that could have gone to the ladies to boost and bolster the women's division.
Yeah.
You had Bronson Reed come out. Then you had all that backstage. So Bronson standing, my notes say, so Bronson standing in the ring. So we cut back there. It's Damian Priest, Mr. Money in the Bank, and Apollo Crews. I wrote down, I love Akira Tozawa in my notes. I wrote that down. And then I said, okay, now we're back to Ciampa and Reed. So it was like, what the fuck was Reed just standing in there, just in the ring, listening to his music, like dancing and shit for 3.5 minutes while they cut? And when you think about, you go to like an indie show and you see them taping for their YouTube show or for like Premiere Pro or IWTV, you don't see any of the promos that they're already pre-taped. When they do a live show, they have to play those pre-tapes during the actual show.
Oh, yeah. So he's like, sitting there with a thumb up his butt, sitting there just watching this backstage pre-tape with the rest of everybody in the arena.
And I know it's really fucking nitpicky, and I'm glad that wrestling is good enough again that I get to be nitpicky and the subtle production flaws in the way their show is ran. But like, Homeboy had to stand there for like a good 3.5 minutes waiting for this pre-tape to run, like waiting to have a match. Could you imagine standing in front of 15,000 people in your fucking underwear and a robe, like waiting for somebody to come out and fight you? Like, how Bronson Reed's fucking comfortable, bro. Like, he's comfortable. Comfortable.
Like, I don't even go out in my underwear in a robe to get the mail. Like,
I don't go out. You're lucky if I leave the house. I have a people limit that I'm allowed to hit every day, and like it doesn't roll over. So if I don't leave the house today, that doesn't mean I can go twice as long tomorrow. Like, no, you have a very finite amount of time where I'm okay with going into public. And if you don't meet me in those standards, fucking dunzo, kid. I'm sorry. I'll try again tomorrow.
Like, yeah, I was the same way during COVID, gained 100 pounds, and then I had to go back to work. So, but No, I definitely get you. So Rhea versus Liv, you get the package. I'm just not interested in it because of how kind of just flip floppy the whole storyline has been with me. Um, we did see Sonya and Chelsea Green, pop up.
Chelsea
Green.
Green.
And then you know, Rhea kind of scares them off too. And then I'm wondering, does Rhea want them tag straps too?
I would give Rhea whatever strap she wants, or she could give me whatever strap she wants, mind you. I don't give a fuck.
Hey yo,
Can I say that on your show, Jamie? I'm sorry. I didn't
absolutely,
ask. Okay, I'm sorry.
absolutely. Anyways, we go out there. Rhea kills Liv. That's what I wrote down. She killed her.
Yeah.
And then I'm wondering who's the opponent at SummerSlam if there is one. Like
Potentially with Lyra Valkyrie as a tag team. Huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of got that dark esque element. But who would Rhea's opponent at SummerSlam be? You pretty much eliminated your Raquel problem. You eliminated your Liv problem. Like what does that leave you with?
I don't know. And that's the issue. They haven't allowed for any stories to be built. Rhea is every week competing in the men's division to bolster Judgment Day without building any viable stories against the women because she just walks through them. It's very reminiscent, but kind of reverse order of China. Like China bypassed the women's championship and went straight to the fucking IC title
So
because
if
she was so big and so unrealistic. They knew she would walk through the women's division. She got a women's title reign after the fact. So I think Rhea is the reverse of China. She's reached a point where she's almost and it was very think Bianca over the last year going through that WrestleMania to WrestleMania push. She felt very untouchable, and that's how they've booked Rhea to become right now. Is Rhea has been booked to be very untouchable,
but without all the title defenses and without the matches.
Give me a second. I'll tell you how many times she's defended this title. I've got good notes for this match.
She's probably defended it a lot on house shows.
Oh, you would be surprised.
But from what we've seen on TV, not many. I mean, the 2 versus Natty.
I've got my arm kicked up all weird because of my mic stand. Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley matches. She won the title, on April 1st, 2023. She's defended it she's had 3 defenses since, the last one being on July 3rd, so 3 weeks ago. She hasn't had a title defense in almost a month. The longest match she's had since the Charlotte Flair WrestleMania match, aka Steamboat Savage Part 2, was 12 minutes 45 seconds with Natalya Neidhart of all people, Jamie. Natalya. I tell you what, sir, that's not a great, like, she's dominating. She's dominatrix. However, whatever verbiage you want to use. Rhea's money. I'm not taking away. Does she necessarily need the title, though? As Rhea became bigger than the women's title to where it wouldn't matter if she had it or not, because if you're not, it's kind of like Roman. If you're not going to have them defending the title, then why have them have the title at all? If she's going to be involved with all these stories with Judgment Day, instead of building viable women's titles, let the other women have the title and let them be viable women's stories.
But who on that Raw roster would be good enough to have that title?
I don't know. And I feel like in a 3-hour show, we should have a better idea, like they have 3 hours every week to help build that women's division. And we sit here right now, and I'm not saying you and I are great at what we do. I would say we are above average wrestling fans at the very least, though. And if you and I can't immediately think of 2 or 3 people in a 3-hour show with a 50-person roster in WWE who's a viable option to take Rhea off her throne, then what are they doing with their women's division, bro?
Because on SmackDown, I can think of 5 just off the top of my dome that are viable women's champions. 5.
It's the reverse of this time last year. Think about this time last year. Raw was stacked. Yeah, they had every woman in the women's War Games match was coming from Raw after the SummerSlam push this time last year. Okay.
So
this time now on Raw, it's maybe the weakest division in women's wrestling. I definitely think SmackDown's women's division right now is stronger than Raw's women's division.
And they are cooking.
They're hot right now, dude. Red hot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you got Nikki, you got Piper, yes. But
Rhea, Liv, Raquel, Zelina.
Zelina's on SmackDown.
She's with the LWO.
Yeah.
Were they drafted to SmackDown?
Yes. But that apparently doesn't matter.
Why, Jamey? Why doesn't it matter?
I don't know. You got the best logic for it. I just know it hasn't mattered as a fan. But
stop with that, both of you.
We're about to get an invasion over here by Scals. But I really think though, if you're really gonna go with it, might as well. If Io,
Zelina Vega has been wrestling solely on SmackDown since May of 2023 was the last time she wrestled on Raw or a premium live event. Bada bing, bada boom. Piper and Nikki need to be a tag team. Agreed.
So Dalton, you say bring up Gigi Dolan, but they're currently over there on NXT burying her right now.
Gigi Dolan, is she
Priscilla Kelly?
Okay. I see, dude, I really hate to be that way, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic when I say that. That's how little NXT I watch, is that this is going to sound real bad. I wasn't sure if she was on Team Firecrotch or not.
No, she was in the Toxic Attraction though.
Oh yeah, the Mandy Rose. Yeah.
Yep.
Did you just say they're burying Gigi?
Yes.
He did, Scouse. He did. He said they were burying Gigi.
Go and watch last week's
show. How do you feel about that, Scouse? How do you feel? Man, you don't watch it. I don't watch NXT at all. You're absolutely right. If we were to have an NXT brand on Rivet City Radio, I would not be part of it.
I do interviews one day, but anyways.
I do interviews at 7 p.m. on Tuesday because wrestling's not on.
Right.
They should bring back Mandy. Dude, she's making too much bank on OnlyFans and shit to come back. She said that WWE can't pay her enough money to want to come back right now. No. That's how much money she's making.
I think eventually she'll come back, but right now, absolutely not.
No, there's no reason to, man. If she wants to wrestle, she could pick up tour shows with MLW, NWA, AEW. Anybody who she would want to would pick up tour spots for her, and she could just go run a 3 or 4 week program, make a little bit of money, and then go back to making, $4 million a year doing half naked pictures or whatever. Make your money, boo boo. I ain't mad about that. Hustle, HUSTLE, hustle. And WWE didn't want you to do that. So go make your money. Absolutely. They are not half naked. Are they all the way naked? Scouts, have you done the research? Do you know who I really want back in the back? Dude, I love the Iconics, but they're pregnant right now.
Both of them? Or just one?
At least, what's her name?
Peyton Royce.
Peyton Royce, not Jessie McKay, the other one. Why do you think she was released? Well, I know why she was released. I don't think.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, Gigi Dolan or Roxanne. I like Roxanne a lot. I think she would be absolutely ready. I still think she needs a little bit more time in developmental, even though she doesn't need it. I just think give her some more time down there to kind of develop her and within the WWE style.
Scowls went the opposite direction I thought he was going to go with that. He goes, why do you think she was released? And he goes, it was full blown, not to mention the shower video. And I was like, okay. I thought he was going to be like the opposite, kind of coming at me because I said so. I was like, no. Scowls was like, no. This bitch showed up naked to work in a shower video with humping the title belt.
This is paying dues, not the table spot.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jamey.
No, you're
swearing and talking.
You're good.
Sorry,
you're good. I mean, it's not a family show, but it's a Twitch show. But with that being said, man, Damian made quick work of Apollo. Oh, I didn't mention the Logan Paul segment. You get what you get.
Logan Paul segment?
Yeah.
Was it Ricochet?
Paul. Yep. He about knocked him out, and then about 2 minutes later, he was sitting there filming. You get a kip up, a super kick, something straight out of like Shawn Michaels '97. Yeah. get a little segment there. I think that match is actually going to steal the night at SummerSlam. That's a bold prediction by me. I think it's going to be a good match. Not much build to it. You don't need much build. Just these two guys, they're athletic enough to go out and make it happen.
Click the link and share it. Scows just sent us the Twitter of the Logan Paul like film footage from the segment. Good on you, Scows. Love you, Bubba. This segment, why you pull that up? I wrote down Raquel, Rhea backstage, Rhea, Liv, very distracting. And then I wrote down, oh no, Liv is crying in the most sarcastic voice ever. Then that Rhea suck it will 100% be a meme. I wrote down off the top universe, make that happen. Somebody make a meme out of Rhea saying suck it. My division, you're lucky. You're just living in it. And that was a great line. Chef's
Great
kiss.
line.
But too many
is in the division?
Who was it? Scouts just told us a few messages back. Let's pull it back up. Oh yeah, Rhea, Liv, Raquel, and Zelina. Those 4 people, and they just took out 2 of them, so that leaves Zelina on SmackDown. So she kind of counts.
All right. So here's that clip.
That wasn't the link. I liked it though.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Well, Ricochet's athletic as fuck. I wrote down, he has a vast collection of cool Marvel-themed Hawaiian shirts. Have you noticed that he keeps showing up?
Yeah. The one he wore tonight was Naruto?
I thought it was Black Panther because it had the Black Panther suit spikes around the neck.
So, he did wear the Black Panther spikes, but his shirt was
Naruto. I don't
I
really watch anime too much.
Anime.
This is 2 for 2 for feuds, by the way, where somebody looks at Logan Paul and says, "You don't belong here." Yeah. So I'll give them a little hit there. So good segment. Ricochet Logan's going to be nothing but a high spot. It's going to be the super indie-rific show of SummerSlam.
I'm for it. It's 2023, and I'll admit it. I'm into the indie-rific crap right now at the moment.
We don't yuck any yums, man. You can like whatever you want. That's fine.
Like I like the Pups. I like Omega.
I said it the other night. I tweeted it out. I was like, please don't like the Young Bucks. Please don't like the Young Bucks. Please don't like the Young Bucks. Because Nick Jackson's opening series, when he came in, he hit it and he boomed and he rolled and he hit it and then he hit the cutter and he pops up and he hits the moonsault and you're like, this fucking kid can work.
Yeah.
Like it was timed and it looked good and everything was crisp. And you were like,
but then you got to think, these are the Young Bucks.
Do I like the Young Bucks now?
Yeah.
Like, do I like the Young Bucks? Like, I like the Young Bucks. Like, no. Babyface Young Bucks? Like, yeah. No. What? Yeah. I said the same thing. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega won me over Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes.
Arguably match of the year. Then they did part 2 at Forbidden Door. I was like, I'm a Kenny Omega guy, especially babyface when he's not obnoxious belt collector Kenny Omega. I was like, I can get behind Omega. And then the Bucks start doing it. And you're like, oh, God, I like that. Jamey, I think I like the Young Bucks.
You got to go back and watch his New Japan stuff.
I've seen a lot. Like the PWG Battle of Los Angeles, Young Bucks and Adam Cole versus Nick Seidel and Ricochet and Will Ospreay. Like, dude.
Just don't mind the part where, they're with Tommaso Ciampa and they're doing the grenade in the butt spot, but,
No, you don't. Allison says, no, you don't. You don't like the Young Bucks. You just think you do.
Let the boys play. Okay. Okay, Alice. McIntyre and Gunther.
You forgot about the Damian Apollo's crew squash match, and I actually wrote down Damian Apollo.
Made quick work of Apollo is what I wrote down.
I wrote down Damian Apollo, lost focus, don't feel bad.
Yep.
That's exactly what I wrote down. So, okay, good. I just wanted to make it a point that
took a piss, came back, it was over.
Completely lost focus, and then I realized the whole match was done 90 seconds later. Also, we'll just keep it going to tally. That's another 3 minutes of useless TV they could have given to the women to bolster more women's matches. I'm just saying, we can keep a tally. I'm a spreadsheet guy. I will make a fucking spreadsheet so they know how much time they've wasted not giving good time to women's wrestling.
This is why I love you, man. Anyways, McIntyre and the Ring General face to face. They pretty much just bicker, and then you get to the point where Ludwig Kaiser wants to go in and I am the game, but I'm not, and
He's like a
much
German Triple H. If Triple H was,
smaller.
like, yeah, like what would be the word for it? I don't want, family show. He looks like when you wake up and you're a kid and you go into the kitchen and you're in your undies and you go to climb up on the counter and you like reach up real high above your head.
And you think you're Spider-Man?
Ludwig Kaiser looks like a kid in his undies standing next to some of the guys he works with because and I'm not a size guy. I'm not one of those guys. Size doesn't matter. It's the motion of the ocean or whatever the fuck they said. But like looking at Ludwig Kaiser, he doesn't look like a pro wrestler sometimes. And tonight was one of those situations where
because of who it's because of who they set him up to work with.
He's a fantastic worker, though. Imperium is nothing, questionable things about the gimmick, not the time, not the place, but like work-wise.
But those guys make it work.
Those three guys are some of the best, most talented in-ring workers in WWE right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, my name is Ludwig Kaiser. He's like what I was talking about earlier with Cody, but like the bad version of it, where everything sounds the same every time he talks.
And I'm going to pick a fight with this X person today. A month ago, it was Owens and Sammy. Last week, it was Matt Riddle. This week, Drew McIntyre. Speaking of Matthew Riddle, he showed up. Why? I don't know. I thought Gunther eliminated that problem. So does that mean McIntyre isn't winning at SummerSlam because of Riddle? Just kind of... I hate Matt Riddle. I like his ability, but I just hate the guy.
Am I conditioned to just not even realize that man is on the TV screen? Because my notes literally say nothing about Matt Riddle.
Probably because you're on the same level as him.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean. We're definitely on, that.
Yeah.
Level 420. Yes. Yeah, no. But legitimately, it says McIntyre and Gunther are fun. Wait, McIntyre and Kaiser? Question mark?
Yes.
Okay, so this is happening. Good wrestling with a capital R.
It was good.
The white noise by Drew. That was fun. Like out of the corner. Like bam. Like fuck yeah. Go Drew. Drew starts his comeback. Drew finishes with a Claymore. Like it was a good booked, produced wrestling match. I really didn't have much bad to say about it. It's just
Yeah, it was just
The Sammy match was better. I think that's still match of the night. But Drew and Kaiser didn't do a bad job.
They put on a good show.
Yeah.
I hope not, because that means Drew isn't winning. Let me throw out the comment before I speak. Will Riddle be added to the SummerSlam match for triple threat? Great match. Great question, Dalton, by the way. I hope not, because that means Drew isn't winning, Gunther's winning, and Riddle will again eat the pin. But with that being said, it's annoying. Just get Riddle off the TV screen. He's good at his job. Give him that. The man can work. He's already failed to get the belt multiple times. It's time to move to the back of the line.
Define good at work. What do you think this man's job is?
To show up and get paid.
He shows up, he gets paid. Okay, well then, I'm still not gonna say he's good at his job. Fuck Matt Riddle. But like when you look at it,
he's good at inserting himself into these programs and then getting a match out of it. I mean,
he is the equivalent of like a really over character based wrestler.
Yes.
Like he's not a viable contender, but he's always a character in someone's story.
Mm-hmm. It's like
That's the nicest thing I could say about him.
It's like management kind of has it out for the guy, but they love him at the same time, and they just kind of give him the love, the tough love treatment. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have you in a prominent spot on TV, but we're gonna beat you up every time you're there. Kind of is what's been going on.
They know he's more valuable to them showing up sporadically on their television than allowing Tony Khan
Yes.
or somebody else to get him in some TV time, because he'll draw because of who he is.
Yes.
And WWE knows he's worth more to them showing up sporadically than he is to be on someone else's what you do, is it breaking news, Rhea versus Lyra tomorrow night on NXT. That's cool.
So much for that tag team.
So what does that mean, Jamey?
What does what mean?
So Rhea's she's in NXT now?
Oh, I think that what a little bug's telling me. So
no, hold on.
With the draft,
Rhea was drafted. She was drafted to Raw, right? And she's got the women's world title
Monday nights, which you're supposed to be on that brand making that title.
So what's the Tuesday show then?
NXT. Next.
That's not Raw though, right? Raw's on Mondays?
No, Raw's on Monday.
Oh yeah.
And NXT's also in Florida, right?
Oh, it's in Orlando.
So
and they were in Tampa tonight?
Yeah.
Oh no, so it's just like they'll get
that kind of works.
Car.
Okay. Yeah.
But see, this is what you do, ladies and gentlemen. This is true radio personalities right here, because we've now circled all the way back around to the beginning of the show when we talked about the fact that brand splits aren't matter.
We are a pirate radio station. Yeah.
They're not Don't make me mute you two.
Oh man. Our lovely producer Scouts. So, anything else, boss man, that we didn't touch up on tonight?
Seth and Finn, always money. I wrote that down. I love Seth. I love Finn. The 7-year itch. Like, WWE was spot on. One of the things they had tonight-wise, the E part of WWE was fucking spot on. It was very entertaining tonight. Yes. They did a couple really cool things. I had some nitpickiness, but I think, like I said, it's nice that wrestling's good enough. Again, I get to be nitpicky.
Yes.
So overall, great episode. Good, not great. You know what I mean?
It's good, a great time to be a wrestling fan, especially.
You're 1,000% right. It is. Yeah. They're not putting out bad product at all. No. Nobody is.
And that ending shot with Damien in the briefcase, man, just that next level of intrigue. It's great.
We said it right before we went live. We were like, Damien holding the briefcase, like, holy shit. Like, he could have cashed in right then on Seth and had a shot, and he was geared up, ready to go. It could have been his. And it's that constant pandering of, is Damien going to do it? And that's chef's kiss.
Man, anyways, if you liked tonight, if you liked anything that we do, check it out, www.patreon.com/Rivet City Radio. You get all the extra exclusive stuff that comes with the Rivet City Radio, Off the Top Media, Broken Wrestling Podcast. You get GM Mode with me and Scals. You get the Hill Support Group, the comic that Allison does with Max and Colby. You get a lot of just extra crazy stupid stuff. You get some exclusive stuff from Shadow with Pardon the Interruption, which is a great show that just debuted last Wednesday. If you want to see off the rails stuff like that, even more off the rails than Friday Night Review, check that one out. That's awesome. Also, next Wednesday, you get the debut show of Cam G's The Boom. That is a AEW centric show. Absolutely gonna be bananas. Another question from Dalton. Could you see Priest cashing in on the tag team champs and then becoming tag team champions with Finn if Finn loses at SummerSlam?
I think incorporating the verbiage that he could cash in on any champion anytime lends you to believe that it could happen for any championship. I still think it's going to play into it's going to play into the world title picture more. I don't think it'll be a mid-card championship this year.
I think definitely it'll be the world title. So with that, if Finn, yes, I do feel that, Scales, I do feel that, and then Finn Balor will be the first crack at the title. I do agree on that one.
Agreed.
Anyways, man, Will, thank you for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. Always love shooting the shit with you, brother. Anyways, where can we find you, man?
Jamey, I want to thank you and Scouse for allowing me to come into the Off the Top domain. It's always a pleasure when our paths cross. We work together now, so really, they cross all the time. That's neither here nor there. If you love my shenanigans though, and you really want to get into what I do and the big feel of things, check out Botch Spots and Chair Shots on Sunday at Rivet City Radio. Check out my interview series Tea and Hot Takes. If you're really curious, check out my link tree at the Will Gray, just like it is on the screen. You'll find all of my dirt sheet writing, my profiles for the Sportster, Last Word on Sports, Pro Wrestling Stories, BotchSpotsAndShareShots.com, the Bloodline Entertainment Network, all of the places where I do the writing stuff, which is, what I think I'm the best at. So go check it out. Go check out the writing stuff. Read the words, click the links, do the things.
Do the things. And with that being said, I am Jamie Rose. He is the Will Gray, and this is Paying Dues.
It's still real to me, damn it!